thank God this happened.
Yeah.
Because I would have never figured out how to really, you know, it's hard, you know, to find someone that's passionate about your music. I was actually kind of like not out about it with my manager at the time, my first manager, and she was like, so what do you know, what's going to be your message? Like, what do you want to write about? And I was kind of like fiddling my thumbs like, oh my God, I don't know how to tell you, but like, I'm like, I guess gay. So when I started bringing like my girlfriend around, they're like, okay, like this is not a phase. This is not just a look to, I don't know, whatever they wanted to call it for music.
Hi, so today I'm here with Gia.
Hey guys.
Been watching your music videos so much, and your music, like, is so obsessed.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Actually, what was the decision to just go by your first name and not with your last name?
Well, actually Gia isn't my real name.
Oh.
I was inspired by a friend when I was growing up. I always wanted my name to be Gia, and I was always just jealous of her name. So I was just like, when I'm gonna do music, and if I do music, I want to definitely, I don't want to be, you know, with my original name. So I was just like, I always wanted to be Gia, and so I went with it.
What's your actual name?
It's Natalie. Oh. I don't like it. Don't repeat it.
And then you were born, so you're born in LA?
Yeah, born and raised in LA.
Oh.
Yeah.
And your parents moved here from, or they were born here as well?
They were born in Iran, Tehran.
Yeah. And
then they moved here, like, I think a really long time ago, like 40, 50 years ago.
Oh.
They came when they were younger, like teenagers. Yeah, I was born and raised here.
You still have family in Iran?
I do, yeah. At my dad's side mostly. My mom's side all moved out here.
Do you visit them?
Not really, because it's just, like, I feel like I don't know, I haven't had the time to really go back to Iran, but I definitely want to go back.
Yeah.
Like, it's so beautiful there, so definitely want to do that.
Have you always grown up with the culture, like food and everything?
Yeah, I was always, like, around Persian food, like, that's my favorite food, so good. And now that I'm not with my parents, I'm like, oh my God, I miss, like, the Persian rice and the Persian, like, everything, like, stews and stuff. But yeah, I was always, like, born and raised around, like, Persian food, and my first language was Farsi, actually. Oh. So, yeah, I was born here, and when I went to elementary school, I was, like, speaking Farsi to all the kids. And they were like speaking English to me. They were like, "What? Well, wait, weren't you born here?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I was born here, but I don't know how to speak English."
Damn, so you're still fluent?
I am fluent. Yeah,
oh, wow.
I'm actually really good at it.
Damn, that's so cool.
It's cool. I'm so thankful that they taught me how to speak Farsi. So.
How would you describe yourself growing up?
Ooh, definitely. I don't know, like sneaky.
Yeah?
I was definitely a little sneaky. And crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
In what way?
Like, I just had a lot of energy, like really bad ADD, so I was just always running around doing things, and my parents would always get mad at me. Even in class, like, I would always just, like, you know when, like, you would sit on, like, those carpets, like, in elementary school, where everyone's, like, sitting on, like, a letter or whatever? And the teacher would be doing, like, story time, and I would just, like, run around and play with the toys. And she'd be like, come back here, like, sit down, we're doing story time. And I would be like, nope. So I was just, like, crazy.
What are your parents' personality like? So are they also, like, really have so much energy?
Yeah, well, my dad definitely more than my mom. My mom's kind of, like, goofy and just, like, really silly. But my dad's definitely the one that's like, let's go here, let's go this, like, very adventurous. Yeah. So, yeah, I think I got that from him.
But I read in a previous interview that you were, like, kind of a loner also.
Oh, yeah. When I was in, I would say, I think it was after elementary school when I went into middle school, I, like, went to a whole different school system.
Yeah.
And it was just really hard for me to meet people because I was super just antisocial and, like, really shy. I was just so shy in class, and I barely had any friends in middle
Why do you
school.
think you changed from, like, super outgoing to, like,
I
really
have
shy?
no idea. I literally don't know what changed. I was just so, I don't know, I think it may have to do with being actually in my school choir. My high school choir. I was really shy, so when I was in middle school I was in choir as well, but I was just still really kind of, like, to myself, wasn't really talking to anybody. Did my own thing. And when I went into high school, my sister was actually the one that was like, you need to keep doing choir. And I was like, I don't really know if that's like considered cool. Like, I was just kind of like nervous to be a part of that. But then I'm like, it's like the best thing she could have ever done for me.
Wow.
Because that's kind of what got me out of my like shyness when we did like performances. I would do like solo stuff, so I just kind of got my confidence back from that.
What age did you actually like start singing? Did you just like grow up when you were really young, just like randomly singing already?
I kind of started when I was like nine-ish. Because I had a cousin actually who was a musician, so she kind of like, she always had like instruments in her room, and I would always just like go in it and I'm like, oh my god, what is that? And like play around with it. So I think that's what kind of like inspired me to just like want to play instruments and like sing. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Are your parents creative as well?
I don't think actually my dad, I just surprisingly found out he can sing.
What?
Like he just started like humming one day and like actually kind of singing. Yeah, I was like, what? Like, okay. I was like, okay, hidden talent. Like, and my mom, I always knew this, but she thinks she's an opera singer. But she goes, oh, like, so that's how I'm like, okay, mom. Yeah. But my dad actually can sing. Like, I was so like surprised about that. So I think I got it from him.
Yeah. What do they do for a living?
Well, my dad used to actually own a restaurant, and it was called Kinari Restaurant, and it was like a well-known Persian place in actually like Westwood area, like Los Angeles. So that was kind of like the family business. And now he's retired, and I think he does just real estate with my brother now. Boring, but it was really cool. Back when I was younger, I'd always have like a restaurant that I would go after school and just like eat his food. It was so awesome.
Also worked there, right, with him?
Yeah, my mom would like help out. She did like the business side of things. It was like a really cute like actual family business. It was awesome. Yeah.
And you picked up an instrument when you were 9 also, right?
Yeah, I started off playing the guitar. Yeah. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just strumming and coming up with like chords. And I also play the piano and a little bit of the violin. I was in orchestra when I was younger, so I think that was awesome. So
was that something that did you have lessons, or did your parents kind of just give you the instruments?
I tried lessons and it was just not gonna work. Like I did not like someone telling me what to do. I was just like, nope, not gonna do my homework. Like I had like a piano teacher who would always try to give me like actual like homework after I would do the lesson, and I was just like, something about it just made it not as fun because it was like homework, you know? Yeah. So I think when I figured out how to do it on my own, I was just like, this is better. So yeah.
So you did not like school either?
I actually love school. Yeah. I really like I like miss it now that I'm not in school. Yeah. I miss being in class and just learning, you know, like keeping my brain, you know, exercising. But not as much, like, I don't know, I just don't have time to do any of that right now, but I definitely want to go back to school, like, eventually.
What were your favorite subjects back then?
My favorite subject was definitely English and history.
What about it?
I just loved being able to write in class when we would do, like, just freestyle writing and poems, and also history was just super, like, exciting in a way for me because I was just like, it's like real, it's like actual stuff that happened. Yeah. And yeah, I just really enjoyed learning past history of like just stuff that I've always was curious about growing up. I was like, what? How did we get here? Or like, that's still not figured out clearly, but just really cool stuff back in the day. So.
Did you know that you'll always be a singer from the onset?
I don't know. I never knew I was actually going to pursue it because it was, I don't know, it was not, I feel like I didn't really know how to get involved. Like I didn't know where to start. Yeah. Because I was like, I don't want to do American Idol. Yeah. And I don't really know anybody in the industry.
But you already wrote your own songs and you can play instruments, right? Could you just make like whole songs yourself?
It was weird. Like I didn't have that many friends growing up, so I would just like stay home in the weekends and write songs. And I wrote this song called Bored on the weekends. Like, why am I so bored? And I don't know, I always wrote songs in my room, and I guess when I went into choir, that's kind of what got me into music actually, is my manager scouted me
Yeah.
So that's how it all kind of started. And I was like, thank God this happened.
Yeah.
Because I would have never figured out how to really, it's hard, to find someone that's passionate about your music and wants to help you.
What was your manager doing in a high school choir?
So that's the funny part. So she, her friend's little brother went to my school.
Oh.
And yeah, she was asking her friends like, hey, do you guys know any cool artists or new young artists and stuff like that? And I guess his little brother was in the room and was like, yeah, actually my school has like these coffee shop performances with the choir. It's like, it's basically, it's called coffee shop, meaning like you get to perform your own song or you could choose a cover or whatever. Has nothing to do with the choir, but it's just like the people in it get to do it.
Yeah.
So I guess she came to one of them and saw me perform, and it was, that's how it all started. Yeah.
That was, so you were pretty young then, right?
Oh yeah, I was, well, this was, I think it was 4 years ago, I want to say. I was in 12th grade of high school. So this is like right before I had to make a decision if I wanted to stay and go to college or like do music. Yeah. So it was kind of crazy timing.
How did you know that you could trust her, especially because you were like so young? Were you or your parents like nervous about the whole thing?
Yeah, well, I didn't really know anything right like around that time. I was just like, yeah, like if you want to help me in any way, then I definitely want to work with you. And she was also Persian, which my parents liked. So I was like,
that makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, Persians are so judgmental sometimes. We're very old-fashioned. And they were just like, oh, she's Persian, we love her.
Yeah. So they became closer and then they trusted her kind of.
Definitely. And she's young too. She's not that older than me. She's like a couple years older than me, but she just became family, and like I didn't feel like she was kind of, I didn't have a bad feeling about her or anything. We just started working, and there was no contract, no nothing. It was kind of just like a handshake deal, which I prefer, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
And yes, ever since we've been working together.
Damn,
so it's crazy.
That's so cool. Yeah. So what were the main like moments that you were able to get to where you are now? Like even from the beginning, did she like help a lot of things, or like how did you even get her songs out there?
So it all started when when I met her, she was like, I want to manage you, and I was like, yes, I'm down, like I like you. And she was kind of interning actually at Columbia Records, and that's why she was even there as like a scouter.
For them.
Yeah. But she didn't end up really showing me to them. It was kind of just like her own thing.
Yeah.
And I guess she was working in the same building as this guy who she actually brought me to. Mm-hmm. And he, at the time, used to work upstairs at the same record place, Epic Records. And he was just really close with her, and they were just talking, and she was like, well, actually, he was like, do you have any artists that you are following, or any artists you're working with? And she's like, yeah, there's this girl Gia actually, and I guess she showed my music to him, and it's funny because I didn't even have music. Like I had like a voice memo of like a song. It wasn't even a full written song. It was kind of like the chorus idea of a song. And that's what she was also playing around.
So they didn't even know if you could songwrite really well?
Yeah, they didn't know anything. They just like went with it, and I guess they really liked my voice, and that's like that's what caught his attention apparently. And he met with me, and that same week we wrote. The same week that I got my second manager, I wrote "Only a Girl."
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah,
that's amazing.
And then I was actually kind of like not out about it with my manager at the time, my first manager, and she was like, so what do you what's going to be your message? Like, what do you want to write about? And I was kind of like fiddling my thumbs like, oh my God, I don't know how to tell you, but like, I'm like, I guess gay.
But you didn't tell like any of her families yet though,
No,
right?
I didn't tell anybody.
So how did you feel like you could trust her?
I just felt, well, she had a lot of like, LGBTQ friends, and so I was just like, oh great, this is perfect, like she definitely won't judge me. So I felt really comfortable, and I was just like, okay, I'm gay. And she was like, what, you've been gay this whole time? Like you
how long
what?
did you know her? Well, like a year or
I've known her since 12th grade, which would be I think like almost 5 years.
Oh, I mean like before the song. like she was like, you said she was like, oh, like I didn't know about this the whole time.
Oh
So
yeah,
that part.
it was literally right when when she scouted me, we went to coffee, and I was basically just venting about who I am and blah blah blah, and I just forgot to mention a very big yeah. So I was just nervous to tell her, and then when I told her that week, that's when I wrote Only a Girl, and I was like, okay, now I can actually write about what I really want to write about.
Yeah.
So, and also my other manager was like, this is awesome, like, this song's great, like, this is definitely, like, we need stuff like this in the music industry. And so, basically everything kind of just started from my first song, Only a Girl.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But growing up, did you date a girl for, like, your best friend for, like, 7 years or something?
So...
For a long time?
I had a crush on my friend growing up, who ended up becoming my girlfriend. And we dated, I think, for like almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was my first girlfriend. That's when I first like officially like, came out. And I was in high school still too, but not many people knew. It was really, really hidden.
Yeah.
My parents didn't even know either.
Like, I guess they just couldn't tell at all. I mean, it's just like not really common in the Persian community, right?
It's so not.
That's the thing. Like, even in Asia, it's like unless you like actually like start to be aware, then you realize. If not, like people won't even come.
They won't even give you the time of day. It's like, oh. But yeah, I think it was definitely really. It still is a little difficult with my parents because they're just super old-fashioned.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's weird. Like I still have like a weird, it's like there's like a wall between us in a way, like it's like, it's not super to the point where I'm like, this is my girlfriend, like I still call I'm dating someone right now, and I said, this is my friend, but they know we're dating. It's like a weird underlying thing we don't talk about, so, but I think I hope eventually it gets easier.
Yeah. Did you always know that you were gay?
Yeah. It all started like elementary school, and I look back, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I was always like, kind of like I wasn't looking at other girls per se, I was just like interested in my friends. Like I'd be really close to someone, I'd be like, oh my god, like I think I like you, but I wouldn't know how to like, I don't put it into words in a way. Like, for instance, like I had this friend and she was like playing with me, we're in elementary school, like very, like really kiddie, and one day she just stopped playing with me and I was like, what the hell? And I got so mad in a way that wasn't like, oh, like, why aren't we friends anymore? I was like, oh, wait, I like you. Like, I don't know. It was, yeah.
Yeah.
So now when I look back, I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess I had a girl crush.
What do your parents think now about the music you make about it?
They're really supportive.
Yeah?
Yeah, they also don't really like fully understand lyrics. Like they're not super fluent in English, but they know like the message of my songs, and I think that's kind of like where they get like who I am in a way. It's like I said, it's still kind of weird, but they know what I'm talking about in my music, so I'm like, not a boy.
So then you showed them the music video, and then you had to like spell it out a bit for them, like what it was about.
Yeah, like the video came out, and I remember being in my house, and I was just like so nervous because I didn't know what my parents were gonna think. But that same week they were just like, oh, like this is great, like you're just doing this for music, and I was like, no, this is not just like a look, you know what I mean? But then so when I started bringing like my girlfriend around, they're like, okay, like this is not a phase, this is not just a look to, I don't know, whatever they wanted to call it for music. Like this is actually who I am, so.
Where do you think you got your confidence from? Because I feel like a lot of artists like put out songs for a bit and then come out, but you like came out from the onset. Yeah,
I think I just wanted it all out there, because I remember when I would write songs, like I would have to, like I would sometimes write like he, but I wasn't really obviously talking about a he. And that's when I was kind of getting like fed up with it. I was just like, I don't want to keep writing like and lying and being like he, like it's definitely not going to be about any of that. So I was just like, I want to write this first song just coming out as who I am, and so when the next songs come, it's not like they're questioning, like, you know what I mean? I just wanted to fully just put myself out there. Yeah, so.
How do you think your music has changed from the early songs you put out?
I definitely think the messages are getting you know, I'm talking more about other things that I've wanted to talk about. Because I don't want my music just to be about my sexuality. I think it's great that I'm, you know, obviously I want to connect with people and my fans and make other people feel comfortable about their sexuality. But I also want to talk about, like, other things that, you know, are just happening in the world that a lot of people don't talk about. So I just want to talk about everything. And also the production has definitely stepped up its game, and I've gotten more into, like, bringing guitar into my songs, and so yeah, I think I would call it more like alternative pop now. Like, it's definitely becoming a little bit more like that. So yeah.
How do you think you've grown as a person since when you started?
I definitely have grown up. I think I was just still new to everything, and I was obviously taking everything seriously, but I was just like, kind of like, ooh, I'm excited. Like, I just put out the song and it's doing, like, well on the internet. But I didn't realize, like, there's a lot of work that goes into it, and it's not just like things are gonna happen for you super quick. Like, you have to work for it and, like, definitely develop, like, your brand and your music and just all of that stuff. So I think I've definitely, like, learned to trust the process and be patient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how did you think of all your, like, music videos and stuff? Do you have, like, outside of music inspirations?
I would say, like, even just, like, artists, like painters and visualists and photographers and yeah, I think like a lot of those people are so creative. I'm just like, oh my god, I get my inspiration from, like, you know, painters. I'm like, oh my god, I want to do my, like, artwork like that for my single or, like, an album. So I definitely get really inspired when I even go to the museums and I just, like, look at all the art.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Outside of coming out, what would you say have been your biggest challenges?
Ooh, biggest challenges. I would say comparing myself to other people. Because sometimes I'm like, oh my god, how come I'm not at this place in my career? Or, you know, so sometimes I definitely can get in my own head. But at the same time, I've really just learned, like, trust the process, be patient, and something eventually will, you know, click with the audience and with the fans. So I think it's just honestly trusting the process. Yeah, that's, like, the biggest lesson I've learned, and also the struggle. So yeah, but it's definitely worth it.
Last question. What do you want to be remembered for?
Ooh, that's a tough question. Ooh. I definitely just want to be remembered for, hopefully as an artist that inspires people to be comfortable with who they are and their sexuality, and also never to hide in the closet and just embrace who they are. And I would just love people to, like, remember me as that person that helped them. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was awesome.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Bye.